with Bill Maher. The legendary Eartha Kitt. Actor Harry Hamlin. Comedian Mark Curry and activist entertainer Lakita Garth. And now, the star of Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher.
Very much. Okay. All right, gossip mongers, are you ready for your fix? Well, the president was on TV this morning. He issued an angry denial of gate. He was with his wife, Hillary, and Vice President Gore so they were doing some other silly, unimportant business like, you know, child welfare or something. Duh, boring. And at the end, he got very angry. He said, "These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people." And then he vowed to never stop looking for the real adulterer. No, he is having a problem, obviously, in these days. And the State of the Union address is less than 24 hours away. And he needs to use this address to erase his public image as a sex addict and a liar, and to restore his image as a long-winded bore. It is so tawdry, I don't even want to talk about some of these things, but this is what the front page news is about. Apparently this case, because there is no hard evidence, really, about this. Folks, if you're going to make your own jokes, I'm out of a job. But, no, apparently it hinges on this dress. Apparently there is a black dress that the president allegedly got for Miss Lewinsky that bears the fruit of his enthusiasm for her. And it just gets so sordid because now it comes out, possibly, that Clinton bought the exact same dress for Marv Albert. And it's getting so dirty. Today, Southern Baptists threatened a boycott of CNN. Well, you know that other countries think we're absolutely crazy? The French and Israeli governments, I like this today, came out in support of the president and said they think he can carry on. Other governments were not so nice. Castro came out today and he said, you know, I just spent 5 whole days with the Pope and I didn't get so much as a cigar ash on his gown. All right, thanks for coming. It's all been satirized for your protection. Let's meet our panel. She is an entertainer, activist, and a former Miss Black California. Her upcoming CD is called Lakita. To the best of my knowledge, she's the daughter I never had, Lakita Garth. Hey, Kitten, how are you? Nice to see you. A very funny actor, comedian who hosted Showtime at the Apollo and starred in Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Mark Curry.
Thank you. What's up,
hey, buddy?
Bill?
Good to see you again. Thank you. Star of stage and screen, he played Michael Cusack for 5 seasons on L.A. Law. His new movie is The Hunted. Harry Hamlin! Harry, glad to get you here. Thank you. And she is continuing her legendary show at the Cafe Carlisle, preparing for a national tour as the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz, the one, the only Eartha Kitt. Growl, Catwoman. How are you, hon? Yeah, thank you. Okay, all right. That's all right, Catwoman. So, yeah, it's always amazing. I know it's your birthday today, Catwoman.
Yes.
So, happy birthday. Thank you.
Aren't you going to ask me how many numbers I have?
No. That would not be a gentlemanly thing to do. And let's talk about what gentlemen do.
I'm 71.
You look good.
What do you think? You've worked in Europe a lot. What do you think about this naive belief that this country seems to have about that you have to tell the truth all the time? Isn't this silly and naive? I mean, don't we all lie sometimes? And is that really the mark of morality? Isn't sometimes a mistruth a sign of doing something nice for someone? Are we all really supposed to tell the truth all the time?
I saw the other day a Russian being interviewed in Red Square. And they said, well, you know, what do you think about this thing that's going on with the American president? And he said, well, we should be so lucky to have Boris Yeltsin out with little girl, you know. It means he's a big man, you know. He's strong, like bull. And then, and they said, what about the lying thing? And he said, look, come on now, you know, Yeltsin lies every day, you know. So they obviously are experienced with the whole lying thing. But I think in our case, we don't like to see our president lie.
But
no, because he's a very important position. He's set an example for the rest of us, and he's a head of a family like the country. And if he cannot live by moral standards, then what does he expect of us?
what more...
That's correct. I agree with that.
Well, I agree with that. But his wife is the first one to leap to his defense. She is leading the charge in defense. If she is okay with it, why is it your problem? Why are you worried about it if his own wife? Because it really is only between he and his wife.
Well, first of all, you're jumping to the conclusion that that it's proven that he did this, and we don't know that until...
There is OJ-type evidence that he did. I don't think anyone is so naive to think that he didn't have an affair.
That may be so. However, leadership has more to do with the ability to trust someone than actually just how quick they can be on a response. Because if you can't trust someone, you can't respect them, and if you can't respect them, you can't follow them.
That's baloney.
That is
there
true.
are hundreds of leaders, great leaders, who had tawdry, in your view, personal lives, and we trusted them to, you know, do things that were important in world affairs.
But a tawdry personal life is one thing, and lying about it is another. And I'm not saying
and
that this is...
That's what even makes it worse.
Because we shouldn't ask the question in the first place.
Take it out of his pants.
But the reason we ask...
He needs to be man enough to say, yeah, I did it. But if you are going to be so low as to say, it's to lie, and then 5 years later, just with the Jennifer Flowers thing, jump up and say,
he doesn't even admit that he did it or he didn't do it. His words are so flamboyant. He like Shakespeare talk.
Well, when he came out today, and he said, I deny this today in the most emphatic terms. I mean, there was no...
he says, no, I did not do this sex act. What kind of sex is he talking about?
That's true.
He did not... Today he said... He did not have sexual relations with this woman, and then he said her name. And then another man in another interview with Mike McCurry said, does that mean, the dictionary says sexual relations mean sexual intercourse. And Mike McCurry was up on the stand and he said, wait a minute, I'm not going to dignify this question because the president said what he meant when he said I did not have sexual relations with this woman.
I agree.
There's no parsing.
I agree with the president.
You agree with what?
I agree. The president came out. You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of young ladies or ladies, this is going to get you ladies mad. Ladies always come out and they can say one thing. They can, oh, he touched me, and suddenly you ruin somebody's career or whatever. I think this is our president. I think, show me the tape, show me something. I'm sure they got tapes of the White House. Show me that tape of that day. My man is innocent.
Look, I think every person...
She's a patsy. He's innocent.
This is quite possibly true. I mean, listen, every person in the United States would like this not to be true. Every person in the country thinks that the country is doing pretty well right now, and they would like this to go away. Would they not? I mean, do you want to? Would you like the president to be brought down?
Lakita, in very many ways, you're very right, because when these big shots around the world are sitting here talking to our president, and we as people of the country feel so ashamed because of his personal act, and the whole world knows about it, we are very much in doubt as to whether they are going to believe him or not. And they can play little games.
You know what?
With
those
this
people
man,
overseas
like
think we're the public and the media who's making a big thing of it are crazy. They don't think he's crazy, and they don't think shame upon him. They think shame upon us because we're the ones who are fiddling while Rome burns, not the emperor. He's not fiddling.
We don't care what
he's
he
diddling.
does as far as the sex act.
But I have to take a commercial. We'll come back to this.
In the Los Angeles area and would like free tickets to Politically Incorrect, call 213-852-2655.
All right, we're still trying to sort out the use of sex as a political weapon, and of course, we're in the eye of the storm right now. Let's go back to something that happened years ago, because we can't decide everything right now. It's happening, but there is some perspective. I think it's common knowledge that the FBI taped Dr. Martin Luther King having sex, put bugs in his hotel room. J. Edgar Hoover said King is a tomcat with degenerative sexual urges. This is J. Edgar Hoover.
He's a good person to talk about that, isn't he?
Had
He's a good
lipstick
one.
on his teeth
He's
at
a
the
good
time.
one.
Right.
When's Oliver Stone going to do that movie?
What did that have to do with anything, though, with Martin Luther King?
Because they tried to do the exact same thing.
Right.
They wanted to bring him down, the FBI, because they thought he was they didn't like his civil rights stand, is what it was, but they were using sex to get him.
But he was never elected to a public
Is that not a parallel?
He was never elected to a public
not
office.
only
That's not the point.
That is a point. That is a point, because if I elect you, I expect you to represent me. That's why we vote for you.
Dr. King didn't
That's why
represent
you
the
vote for you.
aspirations.
Yes, he did.
But you know,
he wasn't. He, at that point in time, was a voice that really was a voice that represented the majority, if not all, of the African-American people of that time.
And the Hispanics, not minorities.
So
Yes.
if they brought him down, which they were trying to do at the time of his assassination, we would have lost what he was doing for America.
Exactly.
You would be
credibility.
willing to make that trade-off because he was cheating on
we
his
lost
wife?
his credibility.
We lost, he
Yeah.
lost
That's
his
the main
credibility.
thing.
Right.
Why?
But the thing is, it's a matter of trust. It's the whole thing about the trust. If you can't be
So you would have
trusted
sacrificed
to govern
Martin
your
Luther
own
King.
penis,
I-
how do you
wait,
expect
no,
to be
wait.
trusted to govern 250
You obviously
million people?
don't understand anything about a penis.
Absolutely not. And definitely not yours or anybody else's.
You don't.
Not only that, Lakita,
Cat.
he was in a hotel room, not in the White House.
That's
It don't make a
very
difference. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Why?
I think we need to get back to the issue at hand.
We need to
here.
get back.
Yes, what is it?
If
The
that was
issue
the
at hand,
case.
we're
The issue-
talking about a problem with head of state, aren't we?
Not only that,
No,
but
I think I look at it like this. Bill, I look at it like
very funny.
right.
Well, is that not the case? So.
Yes.
I look at it like this. Now, you have a young lady. If you look at her past, her mama wrote telltale books, tell-all books.
You're back to Lewinsky.
Yeah, Lewinsky. Her mother wrote telltale books. Now, Tripp, she spied on in the Nixon campaign, spied on McGovern. So she's a
literary agent did, yeah.
Well, they all. I think she's a
Right.
She's
Wait
a
a minute,
Lee.
we have authors, we have-
Oswald. She's an Oswald in the situation. She's Lee Harvey Oswald. She ain't got nothing to do with 24-year-old girl. Whether the president did whatever he did with her, it has nothing to do with anything. It has nothing to do with Iraq. Nothing. But let it slide.
The only way that this is going to go away is if this literary agent and these people got together to write a book, and all of this is fabricated.
But you know they're going to make the money off the book. They're going to do that. That's the only reason they got her in there.
I don't think it's fair.
That is the
together
case.
and say, I did not do this.
Listen,
How can he
plainly
possibly
he's
say that?
lying.
Other thing is, too,
Plainly
Well,
he
you're
did.
jumping to a
women.
conclusion
Oh,
there. Because,
One
Do you
of the
think-
things was that they are talking about women being treated like indecency and all of that sort of thing.
Come on.
And not misusing women.
I'm sorry, why? You know what?
The feminism of the whole thing.
I have not heard
What do you mean
anything
the feminine?
about
misuse
sexual.
of women.
I'm so tired of
Misusing
hearing that
women.
about the
Why?
women
That's the
getting
case. We don't know if
mistreated.
it's true,
I'm
but
so
it's
tired of
It
hearing
was a
that. If they want to be
consensual
equal, be equal. I think women should be equal. I'm sorry. Every time we're mistreating the lady, the little 24-year-old girl, she's not stupid. She's not
Right.
boom.
Yeah, I
It's her
don't
fault.
appreciate
Then
the fact that
don't
he
vote
characterized her
on
as a
the boards
doe
by
in the
saying that we should
headlights
treat
of
women
this
with more
international
respect.
scandal.
Right.
If the girl
No.
is
She's as old as I
then
am.
you
She
can
can take
reject
care of
her.
herself. But the thing is
she wanted
this.
him.
I think we need to talk principle.
No, that came out today in both in Time and Newsweek.
But regardless,
she was
but-
sent home one day because her dress was too low cut.
See?
Now that's not somebody who's a doe in the headlights.
Right.
That's
But
some
she
headlights
knew,
in the
she knew how low
doe.
her dress was when she got up in the morning.
Please. Once in a while they just.
I think we have reached a point where we need to start thinking principally instead of by party. We have boiled everything in this country. We have
listen to
boiled
who's talking.
everything down to
This is
left,
all coming
right,
out of a hatred of
conservative,
Clinton.
Liberal. Hey, everybody in my family is a Democrat, so I don't know what you're talking
But
about.
you hate Clinton.
The problem is,
You
this
just
is the
hate
point.
him the way
This
Kenneth
is
Starr
the
hates
point.
him, and you'll do anything to bring him
You
down.
don't know me. You think you know me, but you don't know me.
It's not about you guys.
And you know,
The point is,
I know your bio used to
is that,
say-
but no. the point is that we need to boil everything down to what is right and wrong versus right and left and everything else.
Well, I wish
And that
life was
is-
that simple.
and
I'm
that-
glad
that
it
is
is
where
for
we need
you,
to go.
but it's not for most
But
people.
it is for me.
Well, let's boil it. If we boil
Right.
down what's right and wrong, if she consented, it was right.
Well, there you have it. We got to take a commercial. We'll be back. All right, I want to return to the question I was asking. We got off the track. This is, again, about Clinton, the embarrassing things that have come out on this tape, whether that is right. They have, J. Edgar Hoover had Martin Luther King saying he was with girls in a hotel room. They have him on tape saying, "I'm blanking for God," and yelling out, "I'm not a Negro tonight." I don't know what that means.
I never heard any of that.
the-
That doesn't sound like Martin Luther King.
How do you know?
Because I knew Martin Luther King.
That well?
That well, yes. With
Well,
never having
Well, this is
anything
when
to-
he's making love, which is the point.
Well,
is
no,
that
I didn't
when
get into that act
But
with
when
him.
people are into their sex lives,
Yes,
they're
I-
into an area where you really shouldn't be asking questions about it or taping them and having it exposed.
No, you know.
Now,
this
wait a
reminds me-
second.
Such an
Hold on.
appetite for salacious details about people's public figures' personal life.
Yes. Right.
That, you know, if anything comes out that is in any way salacious, the media is going to jump on and have a field day with it, which is what happened here, and there's no stopping it now.
I think this just uncovered just where America's heart really is. This reminds me when I was a kid, there was a pimp that lived behind us. And this guy caught him. Not yet. We'll give you a chance, Mark. Now, one of my youngest remembrances is this guy was chewing out one of his girls, and he told her, "Look, I don't care who you sleep with, what you slept with, how many times you did, just give me my money, ho." And you know what? That... Would you do work for him? What that, you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of we as a country. If we're so apathetic about this, that's exactly what we are.
But
we don't care
the question
who you
is,
sleep with.
would
Just
you have
just give me
sacrificed
my money.
Martin
Yeah, but
Luther
at the same
King
time, yeah.
because this is what he did in a hotel room? Would you be willing to sacrifice all he did for America? Because the assistant director of the FBI said,
Does that
"We will
excuse what he did?
But
No,
I'm asking you whether
of
you would
course you wouldn't
sacrifice
wanna
it.
We're not talking
sacrifice
about
him.
him. We're talking about Clinton.
No, we're not. I'm asking you about King.
No,
now.
I look at it like this.
King.
Will somebody stop and let's talk to one another?
Right.
Rather over one another.
There you go.
All right. Now,
You don't want to answer the question.
I do want to. Let me answer the. Can I
I'm
answer
asking
that
you-
directly? Let me answer
It's like
that.
this.
It's very relevant to Clinton.
Of course we wouldn't want to sacrifice Martin Luther King for such a thing. Of course not. He was a
That's
great
not what
man.
she said.
But you know what? I look at the source. The source of the information. J. Edgar Hoover was a terrible source to get anything.
So
He's
is Kenneth
incredible
Starr.
to me. Exactly. So is Starr. So is J. Edgar Hoover. So I have to look at the source. If
Would
a
you-
crack
Wait,
addict, wait a minute, if a crack
Would you-
addict came up and said,
Hold
"Oh,
it.
Mark Curry slapped me," then you gonna look at it and say, "Hey, you a crack addict?
Wait
Get
a
out of
minute.
here."
No matter
It's
what-
a credited source. It's a credited source.
No matter
American
what is
people do
being
not
said and
want to
done.
sacrifice President Clinton for this issue. They
I-
do not want
No,
to do it.
no, we
He's
don't.
a
I don't
great
think they want to
president.
either.
He's proven himself
I don't
and his
think that
record.
they want to either. But that does not excuse. If King actually engaged in what he was allegedly to be involved in, then we should say that was still wrong.
No, it wasn't.
But should it bring him down?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
But should it
We
bring
are
him
human.
down
We
from
do
his
things.
position
No.
of leadership?
No, it should
thank
not.
you, Catwoman.
Because I think
Long
that
march.
That would be
the
Yes.
better
people.
the man is for the country, the unwise thing is
Sexual harassment.
the unwise thing is to pull him down and let all of the goodness that he's done go.
And let all
but
the-
I do think that it's the Republican Party that is advised that the Democratic Party took a lot of good things, ideas from the Republican
Yes,
Party,
they
and
did.
now they're
Oh.
both working.
Nobody ever said
relative
Clinton wasn't
very
a
well
thief.
No, the only,
All right.
right.
I have to
No,
take
I
a
don't
break,
think
but
it
you.
should be pulled down. I don't think it's going to be pulled down anyway.
I don't even
Has
feel.
two
I
more
don't
years.
feel
Okay,
that
we're
out.
a little behind. We'll be right back.
And our guests will be Ann Taylor Fleming, Alan Keyes, Michael Bolton, and Jon Stewart.
Okay, this is such an excitable subject. I can barely keep you from arguing during the break. But you were both off and on about, you know, this lying into lying. But lying in sex, once again. Now, have you not ever said to a lover, if he asked you, did you achieve orgasm that time? Maybe you said, yes, I did.
And you're lying.
No. Because, no, I would have no reason to lie because I haven't had sex with anybody. So, the point is, and I didn't lie. And I didn't lie. I'm not looking for you to feel sorry for me. I sleep very well at night. I am not guilty.
Hey, you know, there's an intern job.
I'm not guilty. And you know what? They would be very safe
you
me working for Bill.
You never had sex, so you just had oral sex.
Never had oral sex.
No, I'm kidding. That's what the person said.
Well, she may be telling the truth, although I doubt it. But you're right. We do lie.
We do lie.
You're watching ABC.